Hi guys, we keep hearing from current and ex-Tories about how migration levels in Britain are too high. They rarely explain why that's a problem, but when pushed, they will claim that it puts pressure on public services and housing, two areas that the Tories refused to support correctly when they were in power. Tories will be Tories. However, it's perhaps worse when the left engage in such irresponsible rhetoric. Here former Labour MP Bill Rammell speaks like a conservative when it comes to immigration, and wants people on benefits forced off that support and into jobs British citizens generally don't want to or can't do. Have a listen.
Well, my starting point is that net migration is far too high and is unsustainable. You know, it's 3 times higher than when the last Labour government left office. And one of the ironies of this situation is that when Labour was last in power and we were within the European Union, the majority of migrants were higher skilled, younger, coming from elsewhere in the European Union. We've now got a much different mix, which I think does present a problem. But I think there's a degree of agreement between Daniel and I on this. We do, for example, as Yvette Cooper has committed, need to review the eligible business sectors that can recruit foreign workers, because I think they have become far too reliant on them. We need to educate and train British workers to take the jobs that are necessary. And this is the really tough bit.
Don't want to do them though, Bill.
And that's exactly where I was coming to. You need some welfare benefit reform as well, because I will say it, there are some jobs that British people won't do.
Yeah.
And I think that
the care sector.
Yeah, that needs to be changed and needs to be tackled. And you need a living wage.
How do you do that though? I think you just said take them off benefits and make them go and work in the old people's home.
Well, I think you need some real direction to force people in that direction. But you also need to change the pay levels. One of the really important things we've done since the general election is to change the rules of the Low Pay Commission. So they have to take account of an eligible living wage. That will drive up, for example, in the care sector, the wages that are being paid and make it more attractive to British people.
The care sector keeps saying it's not about wages. I've seen a number of interviews where people in the care sector were asked, look, if people are paid more, if British people are paid more, would they work in the care sector? And they keep saying, no, it's not about pay. It's about the nature of the work. The care sector is extremely stressful. This type of work is extremely stressful. It's physically demanding. Lifting people, old people, out of beds or into bathtubs. Having to deal with people with dementia, for example. This is extremely stressful. Now, the pay is pretty terrible. So you could increase the pay and that may resolve part of the problem. But the care sector keeps saying it's not about pay. It's about the nature of the work. It requires people coming to it with a vocation. People have to want to do this work. So can you imagine, and we keep coming back to this, can you imagine forcing somebody who's currently on benefits into this job? This is insane. Would Bill here, would Bill here be happy if yesterday somebody was on benefits and today they're looking after his elderly relative? Or maybe Bill, in the future, would Bill like to be in a care home looked after by somebody who was forced off benefits to do that job? Because think about it for a moment. Somebody could be on benefits. They're then told, you have to go and work in this care home. They look around, they say, okay, this is a stressful situation. The pay isn't all that great, because if you're forcing people off benefits, you're probably not going to increase pay, because there's no incentive for you to increase pay if you're just forcing people off benefits. So their situation has not improved. They're angry with the government, they're angry with the job centre, and where are they going to direct that anger? Who's going to be on the receiving end of that anger? The patients. Now, I'm not saying everyone who is forced off benefits into a care home is going to be abusive, but it's going to create a situation where people are angry. And they can't direct that anger at the government. They can't direct that anger at the job centre. They'll end up directing that anger at people who have no ability to do anything about it. So the worst situation is the idea that you're forcing people off benefits and into the care sector. But let's get back to the point why British people are not doing these jobs. One is related to pay. Another is, and I've mentioned this before, the jobs are not available in their area. So you're talking about people who are on benefits, for example, having to travel in order to do this new work. But traveling is expensive and it's stressful. So this is going to create an extra disincentive for people to do these jobs. This is a ridiculous approach. Instead of actually being honest and saying, look, we need migration, and dump this argument that migration is too high, say, look, we need workers, we can't get British people to do these jobs, we're not willing to spend extra money, increase taxes to train up our own people, we're going to have to rely on foreign workers, and be honest about it. Instead of engaging in this ridiculous charade where Nigel Farage says immigration is too high and both mainstream parties say, okay, we need to bring it down. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.